Okay, so I went online and I tried to find a better way of doing long division that might work better for us. 'Cause there's the lattice method for multiplication. That seems to work pretty well. There has to be other ways of doing long division, and I found this thing called the hangman method, and I taught myself how to do that, and they call it hangman because the setup sort of looks like that hangman game, if you've ever played that. So we're going to try a problem. I'll show you how to do that. It is 168 divided by 14 equals question mark. And the setup looks the same as any other long division problem. If you put 168 inside the bracket and you put 14 on the outside, so it's 168 divided by 14. And the way I remember how to put which number where is I think of 14 as being the attacker, and it's going to come in and divide up the 168 safe inside his little house there, and 14's gonna break in and chop him up or something. So 168 is gonna get divided by 14. So the hangman method, all you do is drop a line down and you make it look like hangman, and you don't have to worry about which digits to try and get the 14 to go into. We're just going to look at the full numbers, 14 and 168, and estimate. And you don't have to get as close as possible, you just don't want to go over. So how many times can 14 go into 168 without going over? It doesn't have to be the closest number. So, it'll go in twice. I feel pretty good about that, right? 14 times 2 is 28. And you could have figured that out however way you want to. I happen to know that one. So you just subtract. And now you see how many times 14 can go into 140. And that's pretty easy since this is just 14 with a 0 on the end, so you know it's going to go in 10 times. And 10 times 14 is 140. You subtract, get 0, and you're done. So to get your answer, your quotient, the number that goes up there, you just add the ones over here. So 10 plus 2 is 12. 12 goes up there. And that's your answer. And there's a lot of different ways you could have went about this. So with the same setup, 168 divided by 14, you could have said, well, I want to try 5 instead as your first one. And you would work out the math to find out that 5 times 14 equals 70. And when you subtract 168 minus 70, you'll get 98. And well, you already know that 14 times 5 is 70, so let's just do that again. 70. And subtract again. 28. And, well, I don't know, 14 probably goes into 28, at least once. And 14 times 1 is 14. And when you subtract that, you get 14. And, 14 goes into 14 once. And now you're done. 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1 is 12. You get the same answer. And the same way you could have done 14, 168, say 10, because you add a 0 in there, 140. Not going to go over, but that's pretty close. And it's 8, 28, and maybe, you know that 2 times 14 is 28. You're done, and you still get 12. So the closer you can get, the less steps you're going to have to do. But if you don't feel comfortable multiplying the big numbers together, you want to be maybe lazy about it, you could have just done 12 ones all the way down here and kept subtracting 14 from the number and then added up all those ones and still would have gotten the answer of 12.